All right, so we've built our content categories in the previous step. You already have your free products. You've done all the profile frameworks, your engagement system. You've done all that. Now it's time to actually write your LinkedIn content. Now I want you to go back to last step where we built this ChatGPT script here, this process. We also went over the Google Sheet where we had the content type, the themes, the content categories. We're going to actually just continue where we left off. Now, the goal of this video is to show you how to build your post concept, take it into Supergrow, and then actually write the content. So let me show you how to do that in this step. So the first part is to go back to the ChatGPT, and in that same conversation where it gave us the pillars, the content categories, and all that, I want you to ask this script here. Now, based on this, I want you to create a 14-day content strategy for me. Here's what I need for each day: content type, content theme, content category, post concept, which is the hook of the post, and then the post purpose. For this sake of the video, you probably don't have the elite or any of the paid products yet, the high tickets, anything like that. So post purpose is right now is just grow following or obtain emails. You can of course add more to this if you have more things like the paid promos. You can do the high ticket, any of those. But for now, I'm just going to add the two purposes. I'm going to press enter. Now chat's going to think based on these categories, the subcategories, everything we've added before, and it's going to give me the 14-day structure, which I'm going to take over into our Google Sheet. So I'm going to start today as, let's say 10/13 is tomorrow, so I'm going to add that. All right, we're going to do 14 days of content. Perfect. All right, October 26th. Beautiful. Now, we've got our 14-day LinkedIn content strategy. Day one is going to be a personal image. Okay. So day one, we can actually remove all of this info here. Personal image, we've got content theme, authority, and personal branding. Okay. And then we've got content category is storytelling. Beautiful. We actually didn't add this into this yet, so we have to add that. Storytelling. Awesome. I'll add storytelling, and then our post concept, the hook. Your LinkedIn profile isn't a resume, it's a landing page for trust. All right, obviously that's not optimized yet, but we're gonna leave it at that for now, just so we know the post concept, which essentially, I know it's talking about your LinkedIn profile. This is going to be a post about storytelling and to build authority and of course, personal branding. So that's awesome. Purpose is gonna be grow to following. Perfect, we're gonna add this here. Perfect. Now the next one we've got, I'm just gonna add a couple of these. We've got carousel, amazing. Content system and strategy, okay. Now remember, if you're not doing carousels, you want to keep this to infographics or probably personal images to start. That's totally fine. This is going to be educational. I'm just going to put in down. We'll add educational. Educational. Okay, we'll give that a little blue color. Beautiful. The post concept. The 4-part content system I use to post daily without ever running out of ideas. This one's actually a lot. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than the other one. Very nice. And then grow following is going to be that post purpose as well. Let's do one more. And it's going to be infographic, lead gen. Okay, so infographic, we got lead gen. Very nice. And then it's going to be educational. I like that. And the $220,000 funnel that turned organic content into daily DMs. Pretty cool. All right. Good process. And this was going to be to obtain emails. All right, so we've got our, let me actually remove these for now so we don't want to add all those in just for the concept of this. So I've got 3 days of good content. We've got personal images, carousels, and infographics. Beautiful. I know the theme of them. So what exactly we're going to be talking about: lead gen, content system, and authority. So we're doing 1 storytelling, 2 straight educational and valuable post. And we've got the post concept. So what we're going to talk about. And then we know that in these 2, the CTAs are only going to be to grow our following. And this one's going to be to obtain emails. So that's what we have so far. Now let's actually go ahead and write this content. I'm going to go to Supergrow. If you're using Supergrow, fantastic. You are ready to go. You're going to have an awesome time using Supergrow. If you're not using it, don't fear. You can just use the normal LinkedIn, I guess, native content scheduling if you want. I don't recommend it as I don't like it as much. And it's not as easy to see the preview because on here I can type and I can actually see the preview on desktop, mobile, iPad, you name it. So I always optimize posts for mobile. So we're going to use Supergrow for this video. If you want to get your free trial, you can just go to the school and you can click on this link here. You'll get a free trial. All right, so let's go ahead and create the content. So let's do the second one here. Let's make this carousel. We're going to make this a personal images, and we're talking about a content system. Okay, so I'm going to take this. Beautiful. I'm going to copy this post concept, and we know we're also obtaining or growing our following for this one. All right, so I'm going to post this here. the 4-part content system I use to post daily without ever running out of ideas. Now, I also want to show you guys a bit of a Google Doc. This is actually my premium course that I have, but I'll show you guys a little glimpse of how this works. Let me pull that up here for you. I normally don't share this, but I'm going to share anyways in this, just so you guys can basically understand of how this works. But it's basically the viral formatting for LinkedIn posts. So write viral content. Okay. So essentially the hooks, I will add this to here. Okay. So let's go through this a little bit. I can make this a little smaller. All right, so the first thing is gonna be writing scroll stopping hooks. I do have some examples, and honestly, if I were you, I would go through my past LinkedIn content and go through the hooks and to see how I'm writing content. But essentially, we have there's a 2-lined scroll stopper, and then there's a 1-liner with brackets. This looks like this. So we make readers curious with their hooks. We want to start with a controversial topic. We can showcase numbers, or you can give up personal strategies. These all work in your hooks, but essentially, you want to create it as simple as possible. So let me show you the different hooks we could create. Going back to this, the 4-part content system I use to post daily without ever running out of ideas. This is how I would start with it. I want all my hooks to use I, because I want people to know it's my system, it's my strategy, it's what I do. It's not like what ChatGPT said. This is exactly what I do for my business. So I'm going to say here's the 4-part content system. Okay, here's what I use. I use to create daily content without running out of ideas. All right, if we go to the preview, it fits. Here's the 4-part content system I use to create daily content without running out of ideas. It's not bad, without running out of ideas, without burning out. You could do that too. Or you could say, like, here's the 4-part content system I use to create daily content. System I use to create daily content. We'll do and never run out of ideas. That's all I do. So I like to start my post with here's how, or here's how or here's the strategy, but here's the 4-part content system. I got this from ChatGPT. Okay, so this post can be at the 4-part content system. Maybe I already have a content system that's 2 parts. I can edit that, of course. So we can say like 3-part. I used to create daily content and never run out of ideas. So it's the system that I'm using. Very easy. And we're basically just taking what chat said, but we're just optimizing it. So it's like what I use, and we're using the here's how instead of just the 3-part content system. Don't bold it, guys, and don't also italicize. It looks horrible on LinkedIn. I see people trying to do that all the time. Just keep it normal. And then the next part is I'll go back to my viral post. We've got the clear writing is rather than clever writing. Guys, this is the format you want to use, the 1:3:1 ratio. You have 1 line, then you have 3 lines, then you have a 1-liner, and that's essentially how you write all your posts. So for bullet points, number list, you've got the 1:3:1 ratio. You have the post hook, which is what we have here in Supergrow. Then you've got the post body, which you're creating emotion, you're being relatable, and you're problem solving. And you've got the post CTA. So our next part, we have the hook. Now we need to talk about the problem. So here's the 3-part content system I use to create daily content. So what's the problem? People don't know what to create. I see this all the time. Okay. Or let's say this. I got this question in my DMs yesterday. Okay. We're gonna say this, and we're gonna say this is a problem. Let's say I've been scheduling content for the last few weeks, but keep running out of ideas. Okay, that's not bad. We can keep it at that for now. See more. Okay, but I've been scheduling content for the last few weeks, but keep running out of ideas. Okay, so that's a challenge. Perfect. So I went through the DMs. All right, so we go through the challenge, and then after that, so we know the pain point is we're running out of ideas. People want unlimited ideas to create content all the time. Essentially, what we just did with this ChatGPT prompt here, right? So we're going to talk about the challenge first. So if you don't solve this problem, that's what I'm going to show first. I'm going to say 90% of creators are facing this issue. If you don't build a content system that generates unlimited content ideas for your business, you'll burn out super fast. You'll miss hundreds of paid opportunities. You won't build a profitable personal brand. Now, I'm just getting us to the top of my head, guys. This is not like gonna be perfect or anything, but this is just me writing a post in public. So we talk about the hook first. Then we say, okay, what's the pain point? I got this question yesterday. Here's the pain point. Now I say essentially, if you don't solve this, what's going to happen? Okay, so 9% of creators are facing this issue. And okay, so we have, if you don't solve this, you're going to burn fast, miss out on opportunities, and you're not going to build a personal brand. So here's my 3-part content system, which I mentioned in the hook system, that generates, or that gives you unlimited content ideas. And I'm just like, even while you sleep. It's a good hook. All right, preview looking good. We've got the essentially the 1 to 3 to 1 ratio. We have like the 1 line here. We've got 3 lines here, 1 line here. If you're writing bullet points or number lists, keep these 1 line guys only. Don't make these keep going out. If you were to have like a really long like 1 liner, let's say like this in a number list, see how it goes to like the next line? It looks really bad. What you could do is just space it out. So then space these out so it looks a little better. But you want to keep your number lists and bullet points to only 1 line, especially on mobile. On desktop, it's fine, but on mobile, it's really important. Okay, then we're going to say, okay, part 1, part 2, part 3. Actually, we're going to make these bullet points. Boom, boom, boom. I also want to alternate bullet points to numbered lists. Okay, so here's my 3-part content system. We're going to say build a Google build a content calendar. All right, you're gonna build your content calendar. Then you're gonna build use my ChatGPT prompts. Schedule your new content. All right, and we're gonna talk about the system here. Just for the sake of time, we're gonna add the system here. If you're creating content for your niche, you'd already know your system, so you'd add it here. This is the system here, system here for my ChatGPT scripts. I'd probably add them directly to the post, and then your new schedule here. All right, perfect. So if you go, now the next part is essentially going to be, you have the hook, then you have what happens if you don't solve it, then you have the system. Then I'm going to say, if you do solve it, now you've solved it, this is what's going to happen. So I'm going to say, if you follow this system step by step, you'll have enough ideas to last you 90 days without burnout. And I'm going to say, you'll have 9 days of content. You won't feel the burnout. That's good. You'll have peace of mind for when writing content. Okay. This is just, I'm just spewing some words, but essentially if you go through the system, this is now the ideal system essentially. So this is what's gonna happen if you don't do it. Now this is what happens when you do follow my system. Okay. Now we're, the point of this one was to, we can go back to our sheet, was to grow following. So when we go back here, I'm gonna say, okay. We can basically say, if you're creating content on LinkedIn, you need systems. Don't sleep on it. PS, okay? If you found this post helpful, drop me a follow. And comment below if you have any questions. Okay, simple as that. I'm gonna go to preview. So we've got the hook. We've got, okay, the next part is the problem. Then what happens if you don't solve the problem, okay? Then we have the 3-part content system, which is the value and the overall part of the post. Then if I say, if you do the system, you follow the system, you're going to get XYZ done. That's awesome. If you're creating content on LinkedIn, you need systems. Perfect. I'm actually going to do this to make it a little better. Colon, you need systems. Don't sleep on it. And then I have the PS, which is if you found this post helpful, drop me a follow. So we're using the post, we'll go back here. We've got the post theme, which is content system. Got the content system. Educational, I've got my system in there. We're using the 4-part content system in my hook right here, 3-part for me. And we're growing our following. In the CTA, we're talking about growing our following. That's how you do it. You use these ChatGPT scrums, you add them into the Google Sheet, you use Supergrow or the native LinkedIn scheduler, and you just write like this. The more you do this, the easier it gets. This is also my very simple system and like my quick system for you to start writing today. If you want the more complex systems, you're gonna have to go to the premium side of my school community and join premium and then get all the more complex and my personal systems I use. But this is essentially the best way to do it with the time that we have and the tools that we have to create content without using AI to write it. If you use ChatGPT to write your content, I promise you it's not going to be as good. And you need to learn how to write content before you use AI. You can still use AI to write the content, but you need to learn first how to actually write before you can use AI. Look at me. I'm able to just create a post just from my mind right here because I've done it so often. I know the templates, I know the formats, I know exactly how I like to write content. I know what goes viral on LinkedIn. So write a bunch. Don't use AI to actually create the content until you're comfortable enough to essentially use AI to create the system and the structure for it. Then you can, of course, edit it. But that's going to be how to create content. Once you've done this, you can just use Supergrow. I'm going to go back here. I can go to my Kanban, and I can now take that post here and I can add it to in review. Once it's in review, I can edit it. Maybe I need some changes needed. I'll put the change needed. I'll add my, of course, my visual. I go back to approved, and then I'll schedule it with the Kanban. But that's going to be as simple as that. We really don't need anything else. That's going to be the Kanban. If you go to calendar, you can also view the calendar view for this month and your posting. If you're not using calendar on Super, or if you're not using Supergrow at all, use the Google Sheet, and that's going to be the easiest way to create your content using my formula. So the next step is going to be how to use your analytics after you've created 14, 30 posts, let's say for the month. We're going to use your analytics to figure out what posts we should repurpose and what posts we should actually just scrape from your system and try something new. So that's going to be the next step. Hope you found this one helpful. If you have any questions, ask in the school community, and I'll see you in the next step.